If you go to my profile, you'll see the first pinned video is what I know, kind of telling you that I have some knowledge in what I'm talking about. This video is going to be about what the channel is all about. And I think it's probably time that I come on and I tell you what the channel is all about. Like, why am I here? Why am I putting up the videos that I put up? One, my daughter is the one that asked me to start this. I've said this several times, but she called me up one day and she says, Mom, the stuff you post on your Facebook, that kind of stuff, people want to know that on TikTok. And I so did not want to be on TikTok. I'm like, no, 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 no. And then I did. And oh my gosh, you guys are my peeps. Like, you guys are my peeps. And then I realized, you know what? While I was creating the channel, you always look for your audience. And that is my audience, my daughter and my daughters, my grandkids, and the people that are around me, so that they know what I know how to do, they can also do. Like, I give all my knowledge away for free. Like, if I make a recipe, I put it out there for free. If I learn how to do something, I give it to you guys for free. All I ask is that you watch, right? That you watch, because this does take a lot of time. And within the time it takes me to make these videos, it does take away from me being able to be as productive as I used to be. So I'm not as productive as I used to be, but I feel that there is a very big need to know what I know. Now, what do I post and why? The first thing, my brain works really weird. And you'll see that when you look at the videos. You're like, oh my gosh. I literally have thought things through forward and backward, front and back, top and bottom. And my brain never stops. It has to make sense. Things have to make sense. So when I'm sharing about homesteading, everything that you would need to know, or that I think would be important for you to know as a homesteader, on a homesteading, how to fix things, how to repair, why we do the things that we do. And it's different in every area. If somebody doesn't tell you the area of the world that they live in, be very careful when they tell you how to do something. Because how I store paint in the Pacific Northwest is totally different than how you store paint in the central part of California. Totally different. How I do things here, dry food, can, everything, can be totally different than how somebody in North Carolina does their food. You guys, I hope you're doing well over there. Anyways, when I do something, it's always to be as God sufficient as possible. Like when I'm doing a chicken coop, the reason I use my shredded taxes for the chicken coop floor is because it's available, and it's way less money than going and buying the wood shavings all of the time. I do use wood shavings for the nesting boxes though. So there's a whole bunch of reasons why I do things, and I try to share those reasons why I'm doing it. Sometimes the reasons are subliminal, like under the because you don't want people to know just how crazy you are, right? Okay, so you really have to read between the lines. And the more of my videos you watch, the more you see why I'm doing the things I'm doing. Like, I'm trying to save as much money as possible. I'm trying to have the best result. I'm trying to be as healthy as possible. And there is a reason. Also, I have my pantry list link up there for free. It took me 6 years to create. Literally was looking through my food and trying to figure out how much of what food I used. And you pick how much food you want to have on hand, and then you just work through that list for you. But let's get back on track. Fixing things and maintenancing. Keeping the homestead working well, preventative measures, cleaning things, how, like what do you use to clean the toilet, and how cost effective is all of this stuff, all of your cleaning products, all of your face lotions and everything. Growing food. I'm teaching you how to grow food, and I'm actually going back to the 1930s, the way they did things in the 30s, when before the grocery store was like a huge main thing where all of the stuff was in. You know what I'm talking about. I don't have to say it, right? You know what I'm talking about. This is the reason why we're making our own recipes for everything, because we don't want those. So you'll see me, like, I'm going in the kitchen to make my own Oreos. I make my own wheat thins. I make my own rye crackers. I make my own graham crackers. I have started creating my bread products, all of the things like growing our own food so that we can control what we put in our food and what we spray on it, all the way down to how I'm making my face lotion. I want to go back as far as possible into the early 1900s when people were more healthy. So not only am I homesteading and trying to be safety conscious, I'm also preparing for the future, for what may be. Also, teach you how to build things, teach you how to make your own cosmetics, teach you how to look at ingredients and remake what you love. Like, we're going to be making pudding from scratch. We make bread pudding from scratch. We make rice pudding from scratch. Why am I stuck on desserts, right? Getting yourself out of the grocery store and more knowing where your food is coming from. That is my goal, and that is what I'm teaching you. Now, everybody's on their own level. There is no shame at all if you use plastic reusable cookware. There's no shame if you use Ziploc bags. I use Ziploc bags. Let me just tell you, I'm real here. There is no shame on anything. I am not going to make you feel bad that you use some product and everybody else goes, that's going to kill you. No, 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 no. We're all on our own journey, and the journey is vast. It's like this. You can be here, or you can be here, or you can be somewhere in between. This channel is all about supporting you in learning and knowing and doing better, right? If we just stay stuck in the same spot, we're never going to grow. So let's just learn together. I also do talk about my menopause journey, because I have heard from several women that they were very grateful that I shared that I had to go on hormone replacement therapy and what the actual symptoms of menopause is. There's a playlist. You can look at that too. I don't often talk about it now because I'm pretty much in maintenance mode, but I do talk about it and I do share. I'm sharing life. I also share some of the ailments that my friends and I have had and how we have solved it or fixed it for us. We're not medical doctors, nor do we pretend to play one on the internet. We just are real people that are trying to find the solution to all of these puzzling ingredients that are out there and puzzling symptoms that have occurred with us. So I guess we're just trying to be real and share what we know and the knowledge so that other people not can duplicate it or replicate it, but they can take on the information and they can make it their own in their own way. So essentially, when I take somebody's recipe, like I made a ketchup recipe from a woman that was that's on YouTube, and I share her name and where you can find it. So I never give you the actual recipe out of a book, but if I'm using a book or using someone's info from another source, I'm bringing that in and sharing with you how to make it and what I think of it, kind of like previewing it for you so you can make the decision whether or not you want to try it. And then I give you the information and the knowledge of where to find it. That way they get the credit for it, but you can see that somebody else made it. Because I'm going to tell you out there right now, when you look at a recipe on the internet and you're like, oh, I want to try that, and then you make it and it's a total flop. Some of those people put recipes up and they never ever test them. Some of them put recipes up that were long-term recipes and they're total fakes, or they change an ingredient in them and they make they turn out really horrible. And when I look at it, because people will send me recipes like, what do you think of this? Like somebody sent me a bar they want me to make, and I'm like, okay, well, let's dissect this and make it. But I'm looking at this recipe this lady sent me, and I'm like, that looks like something I made when I was a kid. Sure enough, it sure was. The only problem was she said it tasted horrible, but she really wanted to make them and people liked them. And I'm like, yeah, I loved that when I was a kid. And I pulled up my old recipe. They doubled the salt in it, put their name on it, and told everybody it was theirs. So you got to be careful about all that. But we're just here to literally show you how we're doing things so that you can do it yourself. Make it as informative and fun as possible. But pop on in and see a couple videos and become part of our community, because it's a very nice community. We all support each other in our journey. And when it comes to preparedness, I want you to be prepared for real life. I don't want you to buy a ton of stuff and force you to want to buy things. I will talk about that video. That'll be in another video. But for now, you know what I know, and I'm going to keep sharing what I know with you. I hope you're along for the journey. It's nice to have you here.